What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to another Yu-Gi-Oh! OCG TCG video. I guess this is what this video is going to be. Today, guys, we're going to be doing a little bit of a different topic for today, as I have been doing a lot of card game videos recently. A lot of news has come out about new cards coming out into the OCG, and it really kind of got me thinking about just the OCG in general and about cards in the OCG that to this day has still not come out for the TCG yet. For people that don't know, sometimes in the OCG there are cards that have never been printed into the TCG, which, to be fair, the TCG does the same thing as well, as there are some cards that have not been printed from the TCG into the OCG. An example of this is the War Rocks set that came out in Blazing Vortex, has never appeared in the OCG, never came out in the OCG, and remains a TCG exclusive, which is very interesting that they actually end up doing this, but it's something that was going to happen. And basically what this got me thinking is about some cards that have never come to the TCG, and maybe just wonder, will they ever come to the TCG? So that's what this video is going to be all about. I'm going to be covering one card in this video. I might do multiple videos on this. We'll see what ends up happening. But basically what this is going to be is that I'm going to just be going over a card in the OCG that has not come out in the TCG yet. Go over the card, what it does, what set it was released in, the reason why it was never brought to the TCG, or what my thoughts are on why they didn't bring it to the TCG. Do I think it will come to the TCG? And potentially, even if I don't think it is, what set it could potentially come into that could give it a chance to come out to the TCG. So that is what this video is going to be all about. So now that the introductions are out of the way, today we're going to be covering Decode Talker Heatsoul, one of my personal favorite Decode Talker monsters. Well, actually my favorite Decode Talker monster, and one of my favorite Code Talker monsters out of the entire lineup. And that's what we're going to be covering in this video today. So with all that being said, without further ado, guys, let's not waste any more time, and let's get right into it. So we're going to start this off by just basically getting you guys a little bit familiarized with Decode Talker Heatsoul. So if you don't know what this card is and what it does, basically this is what it is. Decode Talker is a Fire Cyberse Link effect monster, Link 3 with an attack of 2300 attack. Its links is top, bottom left, and bottom right. It requires 2 Cyberse monsters with different attributes. Its effect is you can only use this card's name's second effect once per turn. Its first effect gains 500 attack points for each material points too. It basically does that for every Decode Talker monster, extended in the original one. Its second effect is quick effect. You can pay 1,000 life points, draw one card, then if your life points is 2,000 or less, apply this effect. Banish this card on the field, and if you do, special summon one Link 3 or lower Cyberse monster from your extra deck, except Decode Talker Heatsoul. So not only do you get a +1 from the draw on it, but you get to summon a Link 3 or lower Cyberse monster from your extra deck. That can be a Transcode Talker, that can be a Splash Mage, it can be anything that is long as in the Cyberse. What makes this card good, and I've seen some things that you can do with this. In fact, you can actually end up on the board of double Access Code Talker just on this card alone and Transcode Talker. Like, you use those 2 cards, you can get yourself easily 2 Access Code Talkers on the field, which is very insane to me. And an Access Code Talker is a very strong card, which luckily we actually have that card in the TCG, so we have that piece and Transcode Talker. This is the only piece. In fact, this card makes Code Talkers viable in the OCG metagame. In fact, if you look at some of the pie charts from OCG like tournaments, they actually have had slices of Code Talkers actually being very very representing, not as much as some other decks like Dogmatica, Dragon Link, Tri-Brigade, like decks like that, no, but just because of Heatsoul alone, it makes that deck so viable. Now, recently, Code Talkers have actually kind of made their own presence in the TCG. It actually has seen some play recently in one of the latest tournaments in May, which is the time of recording. There has actually been some Code Talker play, even being able to build it without Heatsoul, which is very, very cool. And I feel like if Heatsoul comes to the TCG, it has some potential to be in the metagame. Now, while I think it will break the metagame and be like a tier 1, tier 0 kind of scenario, no, I still think Dragon Link will be better. Dogmatica, any invoked kind of deck or Shaddoll deck, I still think they're going to be better. Just a couple of decks from the metagame. I understand if you don't care about the metagame, that might not apply to you, but even if you don't like the metagame, just look at Decode Talker Heatsoul. It's so cool. But what makes it so cool to me is basically what they decided for the design of it. If Heatsoul, then part of the name, didn't give it away, if you look at the monster, it literally looks like a fusion of Decode Talker, one of Yusaku's 8 monsters if you're into the anime, and Salaman Great Leo, which is Soulburner's Ace, which, to be fair with Yusaku's case, I know you can argue that one with Firewall Dragon because of the whole 2500 attack point stance, but, you know, there's that whole weird thing, which, to be honest, I've seen a lot of people talk about it, and a lot of people do agree that Firewall is the ace. That's where we're going to go with, but for this scenario, we're just going to say Decode Talker is the ace just to fit everything. So if you do think Firewall is the ace, don't get mad at me. I'm just doing it for this comparison, all right? And this comparison alone. But basically having the 2 ace monsters is 2 very prominent characters in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Reign series, getting a fused card. It's just so cool. I really do like this. This is probably either my favorite or my second favorite Code Talker monster. I mean, the only one they could fight is Axis Code Talker. I just love Axis Code Talker. Not only is it just a good card overall, but I really do like the design of Axis Code Talker. It looks really, really sick, but that's basically just it for what Decode Talker Heatsoul. It bothers me because I want to see what this card can do in the metagame. And again, if you don't care about the metagame, it's just a cool card overall, and it's the only Code Talker monster to this day that has not been released into the TCG. Think of all of the other Code Talkers. Decode Talker in its extended version, Shooting Code, Power Code, Encode, Xcode, Transcode, even the Link 2's Code Talker and Code Talker Inverted, all got TCG releases, except for this card. Now, not all parts of the Code Talker archetype are in this, or at least coders as well, because Code Exporter is another card that actually has not gotten a English release as well, which is pretty interesting. But the big question now becomes, why? Why hasn't this card come into the TCG yet? Well, to answer that question, we have to look at the set that ended up coming with this. The set that this card came in was in the Legendary Gold box. And from some of the cards that I've seen in that, not every card that was released in that set has actually come to the TCG yet. The Triple D monster in that set has never come out. I think the only cards that I'm well diverse and know about that came out was Red Supernova Dragon, Galaxy Eyes Afterglow Dragon, and I believe Blue Eyes Abyss Dragon was released. I could be wrong on that one, but there are some cards in that set that have never come to the TCG yet, which the reason for that is because the Legendary Gold box never came out into the TCG. It was an OCG exclusive product, and Heatsoul has not gotten any other reprints besides just having it in that set. That's the only set that Heatsoul has been in. And to this day, we have not really had a set that has given an opportunity to slip that card into it and for it to make sense. I thought they were going to do that from the Ghost of the Past box. You know, the sets that all the Ghost Rares, and honestly was regarded as not really that good of a set. I mean, the Ghost Rares were cool, don't get me wrong, but honestly, it was just not really very that much remembered cards in that set. I think, like, Evenly Matched and Hydratic Seal, I think, were the only cards that I really remember from that set that was even remotely my interest. Like, sure, Dragonity and Time Thief were cool, but I don't know, that set was just disappointing to me. So you kind of got a little brief thoughts on Ghost for the Past for me. I mean, a cool set, but honestly, for what I was expecting from that set, a little disappointed. But getting back on topic, Heatsoul never got released in that set, and honestly, that was the only set that I thought I had a chance for a while, because all the other sets that we currently have right now, at the time of this recording, I don't think it will go into those sets. It doesn't really make sense. I think the only one you can argue is the newest set, Burst of Destiny. That is the only set I can think of that can have a potential to put that card in there. But even that, I really doubt it. I feel like if they're going to put Decode Talker Heatsoul into any set, it has to be Cybers related, because obviously it's a Cybers card, and I feel like they would try to put it to help support what other Cybers cards. But now you might say, well, didn't At Ignisters get support recently? That's a Cybers archetype. The set that At Ignisters had it in was in Animation Chronicle 2021, and that set's more focused on the anime cards. So they're not going to release Heatsoul in that. Now I know like Isidol Two Tales of the Noble Knights, or Noble Arm, excuse me, was released in that set as well to go kind of with the Sacred Knights, Sherry's cards, but I still don't even think that fits, because Decode is part of the Code Talker archetype, not the Ad Ignister archetype. I would give it if it was just given just cyber support in general, but since it's more specific towards Ad Ignisters, I just don't think it would fit in that set very well. And then like you have Duelist of Whirlwind, which it's definitely not coming in that set. That's a set more focused on wind monsters, so it's clearly not going to be going into that. There is no way they're going to get into it, and I think the only other set is that new structure deck, but they're not putting it in the structure deck. We know that. They're not going to put it in that structure deck, so the only chance for the sets that we have right now is Burst of Destiny. Burst of Destiny is the only chance that I can think right now, the current sets that we have, that I can think of. Which, if you guys can think of a different set, let me know. But honestly, for right now, that is the only set that I can think will have the potential of putting Decode Talker Heatsoul into that set. But that's my thoughts on that. Now it's time for me to kind of give a final conclusion to this. So, do I think Decode Talker Heatsoul will ever come to the TCG? I do think it's still a possibility, even though I kind of made the argument, you know, with there not being a set right now. All they need to do is to release a set that is focused on Cybers monsters. If they do that, there is a good chance that maybe the OCG will consider giving it a reprint, since of the fact that it doesn't have a reprint in the OCG yet. They might give it an opportunity to make a reprint of it into that set, and if we get that set, that's when we actually get the accessibility to Heatsoul. Now, I think the only thing that will suck about it is that I don't know how long that will be if we are going to get a set like that, and by the time that happens, it might be the case where Code Talkers are not viable anymore if you're looking from a metagame perspective. I mean, for me, I just want the card. It just looks so cool. Again, it's one of my it's probably one of, if not my favorite Code Talker designs. It looks so cool, but I really want to see what it does for just the card game in general. I want to see what that card does, but I feel like they are not going to release that card. I feel like if they're going to release any cards, they're going to release cards that are a little bit older than that. For example, like Crossout Designator is a card that's not in the TCG yet. I feel like they will release that card first before they do this card. And again, unless they get a Cybers type deck, or not deck, like a pack that just has Cybers cards in it, I do not think they're going to put Decode Talker Heatsoul into the TCG. But I could be wrong on it. Maybe they'll put it in Burst of Destiny. Who really knows? But guys, that's going to be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. This is something I have not done on the channel yet. I've just only been doing OCG, TCG videos in terms of the newer cards that have come out. But I do hope you enjoyed this different sort of video that I've not really kind of gone into. But I hope you guys enjoyed something different. Let me know what you guys' thoughts are on Decode Talker Heatsoul. Do you like the card? Do you think it's okay? Or do you think it's not really that good of a card? And if you don't care about its effect, just let me know what you guys think of the card in general, and do you guys think it will come to the TCG? And if you do, what set do you think it can come in, whether it's a current set or do you think it would be in a future set? And also, as an extra bonus as well, and I'm going to just leave this open-ended, if there's any card that you guys want me to cover in a video like this, let me know. I would try to keep it a little bit more recent, not like newer cards that are coming out in like Dawn of Majesty or something like that. Don't do something like that. Do something that's like back in 2020 or 2019 or something like that. Maybe 2018. I would probably stretch that far. I wouldn't go any deeper than that because any cards past that I don't think will ever come to the TCG. So if there is a card that you have wanted to come into TCG around that range that has still not come to the TCG, let me know about that, and maybe I'll do a video on it covering that card, what it does, and do I believe it will come. So if you guys have any cards you want to do, just let me know. But guys, that is going to be it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, guys, take care and have yourselves a great rest of your day.